Lost in the ether. In the small town of Millbrook, nestled between dark, dense forests and towering mountains, lived a man named David. He was an ordinary man, unremarkable in appearance but known for his vivid dreams. One evening he confided in his best friend Jack about a recurring nightmare that had been haunting him. In this dream, David saw himself walking through the woods, a sense of unease gripping his heart as he felt an otherworldly presence lurking behind the trees. The dreams felt so real that David couldn't shake the feeling of impending doom. One moonless night, as David and Jack were camping deep within the woods, an eerie silence fell over the area. Suddenly, strange lights appeared in the sky, illuminating the treetops in an eerie green glow. David's heart pounded in his chest as a familiar sense of dread washed over him. Jack laughed it off, attributing the lights to a mere meteor shower, but David knew better. He couldn't ignore the premonition. Weeks passed, and David's anxiety only grew. One night, while he was alone in his small cabin, the strange lights returned, casting an eerie glow on everything around. Fear consumed him, and before he could react, a blinding beam of light enveloped him, pulling him up into the air. He screamed for help, but his voice was drowned out by the strange humming sound emanating from the unidentified craft. Inside the alien vessel, David found himself paralyzed, surrounded by bizarre humanoid figures with luminous eyes and elongated limbs. Panic gripped him as they conducted intrusive examinations, probing his mind and body. Hours seemed like eternity. And when the ordeal finally ended, David was left with fragmented memories of the terrifying encounter. Upon returning to his cabin, David hesitated to share his experience, fearing that no one would believe him. He tried to convince himself that it was all a terrible nightmare, but the physical marks on his body and the deep emotional trauma he experienced told him otherwise. David's behavior began to change drastically. He became reclusive and paranoid, convinced that the aliens were watching him from afar, waiting to return for him. His friends and family noticed the shift in his demeanor, and Jack in particular grew concerned for his well-being. Determined to help his friend, Jack delved into researching alien abduction cases. To his surprise, he found numerous accounts that mirrored David's experience. As he dug deeper, he discovered a pattern of strange occurrences and mysterious disappearances in the area where David had been abducted. Despite being a skeptic himself, Jack couldn't ignore the mounting evidence. He consulted experts, psychologists, and UFO enthusiasts, all of whom had different theories about alien encounters. Some believed that alien abductions were merely hallucinations brought on by sleep paralysis, while others thought they were the result of government experiments gone awry. As Jack confronted David with his findings, he could see the torment in his friend's eyes. David wanted to believe it was all a dream, but deep down he knew the truth. With Jack's support, he decided to face his fears and return to the woods where it all began. The two friends camped in the same spot, hoping to trigger any memories that lay buried within David's subconscious. As the night wore on, the strange lights returned, and David felt the same sense of dread engulfing him. Jack stood by, observing the lights with awe and fear. However, they seemed to ignore him, focusing solely on David. In the midst of the strange lights, David's memories flooded back with newfound clarity. He remembered being chosen by the aliens for a higher purpose, a revelation that shook him to his core. The beings communicated with him, not in words, but in emotions and visions, conveying their concern for humanity's path of self-destruction. David realized that his abduction was not an act of malevolence, but an attempt to guide humanity towards a better future. Overwhelmed with a mix of fear and understanding, he made peace with the aliens and decided to share their message with the world. David's story spread like wildfire, captivating the world's attention. While skeptics remained unconvinced, many found solace in his account, reassured by the idea that perhaps there was something greater watching over humanity. David's life had forever changed, and he became known as the Messenger. He devoted himself to the cause, advocating for unity, peace, and environmental preservation. Though some ridiculed him, his message resonated with many, offering hope in a world filled with uncertainties. As the strange lights continued to grace the night sky over Millbrook, the truth behind David's abduction remained a mystery. Whether it was a hallucination, an alien encounter, or something beyond human comprehension, one thing was certain. David's experience had transformed him, and the world would never be the same again.